Welcome guys to the second series of the React Redux. In this video we are going to practically implement the Redux in application where the default theme will change using Redux. Click of this button, the default theme of our application will change. As we have discussed in previous video, to dispatch an action from store and receive the states from store, first we have to create an store object. For that we have to create an store object here, and this is the basic project structure of Redux that we will use in throughout our project, throughout the series. There will be an action folder, there will be a constant folder, there will be Redux, reducer, and another is store folder. And in store folder we will create a store object. To create a store object, first import method from Redux. What will be the method? We have discussed in previous video, that's create store. Okay, now create an store object, store equal to create store, and export this store. Okay, now to create store we need a reducer here, and for that we will create a reducer object here, that is okay. Let's create a reducer constant, then name it change reducer. Okay, now it is a reducer and it will take two arguments, that is a state and another is action. The default value of state will be our initial state. Okay, let's define our initial state. Constant initial state equal to an object having a initial value of, let's say, bg color, let's say white. Okay, then in action object we have two types of data, that is one is type and another is our data that we will pass from our component. Then we will create a switch statement here to check which type of action we want to perform. Here pass a type, less the value will be change background. Okay, when the type of action match with this case, then we'll return a changed state, that is we will, and this is called state operator state, and the bg color will change to our data. Let we will pass color here, so we'll change it to color. Okay, don't need this break statement here. If no case is matched, then we will simply return our default state. Okay, now reducer is done. Now we will export this reducer, export default change reducer, and we will import it here in store object. From reducer. Okay, now I will pass the reducer here. Okay, now our store object is done. Now we have to pass this store object to our component. For that, we have to pass this store object to our folder, and the entry file of the application is app.js. Now we have to wrap the whole application in a higher order component that is called provider, and we'll import it from react-redux. Okay, that is provider, and here we will create provider component, and in child component we will pass our router, the whole app. Then we will pass store as an object here as a props to our application. Now this store object is available in all the component of our application. Then we will go to our main component. Here is the bottom component, and the click of this button, the color will be either white or black. If the color is white, then it will be black, or if black, then it will convert to white. Now we have imported here the store object, you can see. Okay, now on button click we have to dispatch an action so that reducer will receive it and the state will be changed. To dispatch an action on button click, what we have done, we have just stored the dispatch we have seen in the previous video, a type that is change color, and a data, and we have changed it to color. Okay, now it's color. Now this value is true, then it is white, otherwise black. Now let's see whether this action is received by the reducer or not. Go to our reducer object. Here just console.log our action. If the action is received by the reducer, then it will be console.log in our browser. Now when I click on this button, on the store will be dispatch an action, then we can see we are consoling out our action. It means that action is received by a reducer, and on each click the color is changing, that is black to white, white to black, means our logic is working. Then see, in first it is white, then the color is black, then the color is white, and each action is received by the reducer. Then we will retrieve it from store. We have our store object here. Now we will get constant bg color is equal to our store object, then our get state method. Okay, now in store we have saved this color as bg color, and we'll just click bg color. Now we will get our bg color from our store. Then we'll pass it to this style component, that is our background color. will be bg color. Okay, now if I'll click on this button, we can see now the color is changing on button click, and we are getting our state from store from this method, because on button click this component in the renders every time, so we don't have to worry about getting updated state from store. If we need to retrieve the stored objects with, without rendering our component, then we have another component that is store dot subscribe. Okay, and here we can just simply copy paste it. Now each time when our store value will update it, then the value here will be executed. Okay, so if I'll delete this, then it will also work. Okay, now this is a simple example on Redux. In the next video, we will go through about connect, map dispatch to props, map state to props, and how we will implement it on nested deep React components. Okay, now if you find this video useful, please like and subscribe it. Otherwise, comment below. We will look into it. Thank you.